Hi everybody, you join us back on the riverfront. So this is episode one actually. The last one was an introduction. So episode one of Asia Unfolding. And this week we want to cover really the contrast of living somewhere like Siem Reap in Cambodia and what the difference in relation to the poverty and also wealth as well. And we've got a few stories to tell. So the first story today is to talk about something we did at the school yesterday, where we took along pizzas. So do you want to say how we got to taking pizzas to school?
Yeah, we've got one of our best student from school who 2 years ago when we started couldn't speak a word of English, but now she's actually going on to study at a college in Siem Reap itself. But to do that in October, she does actually need to improve her English. Now she's teaching some of our younger students the very basics, but because she's out in the city, she doesn't get the chance to speak any English other than to the other teachers that are there. So I have taken on tutoring her, and I do 2 1 hour sessions with her a week. And she's going into the hospitality trade. So obviously, I'm having discussions with her about when she comes across tourists and the things to ask, and so food, etc. And I realised on these talks with her that she's never even tried pizza or fries. In fact, she's never even tried their own local dish, which is a Cambodian amok. And the reason being, they haven't got the money to eat anything out there other than rice, noodles, and vegetables. That's it. So Andrew and I got talking, and we decided that we put on a pizza day at school.
Or we thought that it wouldn't be fair because first of all we said Gillian said, "Oh, I want to take a pizza for Channy," and we said that's great, but there's a lot of other children there, so we thought, well, how do we expand it? So we ended up taking pizza for 120, a bit more than one.
We did. So we contacted a friend of ours, Leon, who knows a guy who has a pizza restaurant. So to cut a long story short, the guy at the pizza restaurant donated us 5 pizzas as his bit of it, and we paid for 10. So we took 15 pizzas along yesterday to
All
120
on the back of
mainly happy children.
all on the back of the tuk tuk.
All on the back of a tuk tuk, which was a bit hairy trying to hang on to them sometimes. Um, but yeah, in the most part, they were super excited and really enjoyed it. But in Andrew's class, there were one or two.
There was one or two strange looks, I must admit. We split. We have two classes, and we teach two classes each. And so the first one, great. They just came out, they grabbed it, and everybody, and we'll show you on here some of the smiles of people with it. The second, there was one or two of the girls as I handed them their slice of pizza that sort of went and weren't too impressed, and I don't think we're even too impressed trying it.
I don't blame them.
But we
It's
did
pizza.
we did joke afterwards and say, do we really want to get them hooked onto Western food? It's probably not a good idea, but we wanted to do it. But it took us on to another part of the story, and really where this week's video is about, because Leon, who we talked, we'd obviously got 15 empty pizza boxes left. So he said, well, what are you going to do with them? And so we said, put them in the rubbish, in the recycling. And he said, "Oh wow!" He said that will be amazing. He said, there'll be probably a couple of families who will have the job, or they will go to empty that recycling and see if there's anything in there they can sell. Cardboard sells well over here, and probably those boxes will feed their family for 1 or 2 days. And that really brings it home to you, doesn't it? Because how many of us have had in the West have ate our pizza, chuck the box out, not thought anything about it, never considered that that box in a different place, in a different location, could be feeding a family. And we've had that, we see that here. We walk into town along the river, and in the evening, particularly, it's so busy with families sorting through rubbish, collecting plastic. When people are having a meal and they're drinking a plastic bottle, there'll be somebody there to take that plastic bottle off you. And we had quite a sad story, didn't we, at the first school we were at with plastic?
We did, yes. We went out into the rural villages to see some of where the kids actually lived, which is one of the things that we came over here trying to eradicate plastic, as you do. And then when we went out there, there was one of the kids' parents so proud with her little set of scales that even had a hole in the bottom, but showing us how she went round every night once the kids were in bed, collecting plastic, and showed us how she weighed it, and then she sold that to feed her kids.
And often she
yeah.
was getting pennies for it if she was lucky to get it, and that was the only way that she was able to feed our children. So when you first get here, it might be a little bit of a shock, and you might go, "Oh wow, you know, people begging, people sorting through the rubbish," but that is a way that they make a living.
And I actually just remembered another one. When we were first living out here this time, on a morning about 6 a.m., Andrew would say, "There's a real noise outside. Somebody's hammering something." And again, it was the people going through the rubbish at the hotel where we were staying, picking out the cans and hammering them flat. Because again, they get money for the materials from a can of beer or a can of anything. He wasn't very happy for a while.
6 a.m. Monday morning, it was can bashing time. So it takes us on to the second story, and again, it's a contrast. So there is a really beautiful, they call it an interactive restaurant. It's a bit of the way out.
Immersive,
Immersive
Immersive.
restaurant. It was interactive as well because we joined in. And it's always seemed very expensive. It's very much aimed at the high-end tourists. And it's a meal's about, I think it's about $90 for a set meal there. So we've never gone. Anyway, there was a thing on Facebook saying that they're launching a new menu. They wanted people to come and try it, and it was only $25 each. So we thought, go on, we'll give it a go. So we went along. It's called the Labyrinth. Got there, venue was amazing. We go in, before you get there, there's like a walk around, and they'll show you opening a coconut. You get the chance to try
making the lotus flowers. Yeah, and I wasn't very good at it. It's a good job I don't have to make my living like that.
You got to try bugs for free, which is a video of me trying bugs now. But we looked around, and there was, tables probably for 100, 150 people. And there was 10 of us. That was all there was there. Now, they put a show on. The show went on for, it was 3 hours the show went on for. We must have seen 50, 60 staff in relation to the performers, and there was 10 of us. A glass of wine was $2.50, which is cheaper than it is in town. I have no idea how they're making money, and I just hope that people come along and do start supporting it again. Otherwise, what a wonderful idea, because it was showing the history of Cambodia, but in a really quite more fun way. They did fire, they did acrobat.
They got married.
We
were throwing flower petals as confetti.
It was, and you got to join in, and at the end you even got to go on stage and dance with them, doing a coconut dance, and it was great. Then as we were coming out, we booked a tuk-tuk to get back, because we normally travel around here. It's a very cheap way of travelling. And the driver got to us and said, we booked it on Grab, as normal, and he said, "Look, I would never normally ask this, but do you mind paying me cash?" He said, "You are my first trip of the day." Now this was
9 o'clock?
9:30 at night, yeah. The first trip of the day, he said, "I've not had it." He said, "I haven't even got enough money to put fuel into my tuk-tuk." So we did, and we rode all the way back, and when we got there, it was the price was 10,000 reals, which is about
$2.50.
$2.50, yeah, £2, and we doubled it. We gave him 20,000 real and thought, I hope that helps. And we talked about it at length for a while afterwards. That's just some motorbikes going past. We talked about it at length afterwards, because we know we can't help everybody as much as you desire and you want to. So you help what's in front of you, and you do your best. And as living here, we try and share, and we try and do bits. The thing with the school is trying to show and try and help them have a better life. And we get involved. Again, we were talking with Leon. Leon's been here now for, was it
6 years?
6 years. And he said, there's always something. There's always a project. There's always something. They do through their restaurant. They collect, and they collect to give rice out into the villages. So this week is really, as I say, is saying about, there's a contrast. If you want to come here, you can stay in a 5-star hotel without a problem. You can have a champagne tour of Angkor Wat. You can eat at some of the finest restaurants, Michelin star restaurants you can do. you can go the other end and you can come along and just go out, and there's little bits of street food, and that's what life is like living in Asia. Um, but it
But
is
it's easy.
but it is easy.
It's peaceful, and people are so grateful. Just the little things that we do. Once they and anybody knows that we support a school over here, they always say thank you so much for helping my country, because they are so proud and so friendly and so grateful to be alive.
And hopefully, when you come here, don't be surprised to have people from literally from the taxi driver that will take you from the airport to the tuk tuk driver to people will say to you, thank you for visiting my country. They really, really appreciate it. Your money is much needed over here, and we just think it's an amazing place to be. So that's episode 1 for you. I hope you've enjoyed it. If there's ever anything you want us to cover, please just drop a comment, and we'll try and cover it on future episodes. But that's it for now.
Thank you.